Hello, this is Rebecca, and welcome back to the Christmas journaling series. This is day 7, and today we are going to talk about December daily. And if you were watching in my first video, I kind of did a little bit of a flip through of some past journaling, past albums that I've had. But after making the little journal clusters yesterday, I've decided to move my December daily into my Webster pages. And I think a couple reasons. One, my daughter did give me a Christmas list, which is on an 8.5 by 11 paper, so I want to be able to include that into my journal. And then also, I know she's going to be having a band concert, so I thought about, the bulletin, including that in there. And I think that this would just give me a little bit more room. And so I've decided to use my other traveler's notebook that I previously had planned to use on my December daily, is to actually use it for my journaling from day to day. So anyway, what I wanted to kind of talk about today is some steps that are helpful to me, and then also I want to go ahead and do my cover page. So some of the things that I like to do ahead of time is to prepare for December daily is not only get my planner in place, but also create some of the numbers that will go towards numbering the pages. But I haven't I ordered some vintage numbers, and so I probably won't get them. Probably with the holiday that we just had with Thanksgiving, it'll probably be closer to either Monday or Tuesday. So I'm going to come back and do a flip through of sorts, but I wanted to show you real quick how this is my Christmas planner, and I also had a video on this as well, but I won't tell you exactly what we have. But this I keep from year to year. I've already started my Christmas list. I take this with me. This is always carried in my bag or my purse, and because I'm constantly taking notes, and I'm constantly, here's a receipt that I need to save. But I do have a page dedicated to December daily, and so basically a lot of stuff that I feel is documentable, so if that's a word, or to be documented in the month of December, happens at the end of this week, but prior to December 1st. So this next week, from Thanksgiving on to December 1st, we will be decorating our tree. So that's part of it. We did a donation that I always try to put that into my December daily. So a lot of these things I want to be able to go ahead and document as part of my December daily, although they did not happen. So I've kind of created this one. I'm going to show you in another video prompts, some different prompts and things, but I did want to show you, this is kind of how I document, and I'll show you from last year. And this is what's handy about this too. That's the Advent. This is my December daily. What's handy about this as well is last year I was just looking at my album the other day, and I'm halfway done, so this gives me an idea of what to document. So I have my pictures developed. It's actually just putting them together and doing the journaling. So this is also something that I like to keep, especially when you have a busy weekend. Like I have a show the second week of December, and so I know I'm going to be super busy and probably super exhausted, but I want to go ahead and I will write in each day what I want to document about. So this is one way that I track my December daily, and that's also very helpful for later on down the line, because with holidays it just gets so crazy busy. So that's one way to keep up with your documentation. And then of course, like I was talking about in the last video, doing like journal clusters or something ahead of time to make it easier, where because I love to decorate. That's one of my favorite things to do with the journaling, but this will help the process as far as being able to already have that done. So if you can make up a bunch of, not a bunch, but several little clusters, especially if you know events that are coming up, then that's also very helpful. But since I have decided to move into this is a Cahier size traveler's notebook, and if a Cahier size still fits into the Webster pages, and a lot of times the standard I've noticed that with any kind of standard size traveler's notebook cover, this Cahier size insert fits perfectly fine. In fact, I can put 2 or 3 typically in a notebook and it works just fine. So I'm going to just go ahead and make my cover, and that way I can go ahead and have that set. Now, typically on the first day anyway, we also do our Advent. We have been doing Advent. That's something that I've done for forever with my kids. I know when my son, he's now 18, when he was younger, it was just basically I'd made this little calendar type deal, and we moved this little, it was a shape of a snowman, and we moved a little snowflake from day to day. But then it kind of evolved over the years, and now it's, you know, they get little trinkets or little things. So that's always a big deal, is December 1st. And this year it's just my daughter, and I'm actually bought her another little traveler's notebook insert for her because she does journaling as well. And so I thought that would be really fun for her to have a new journal. So that's, you know, I know that's in place. I could go ahead and get my number 1 ready to go. It's going to be Advent, especially if I had something like a calendar or something like that. But again, that's something that we still have a little bit of time, but that, knowing that that's ahead of time, it's definitely would be a time saver. So I have this snowflake. I just love the snowflake. This came in from a kit that I bought from the Happy Marigold. It was part of the outside packaging, and I just love it. And so I thought it would be really pretty to kind of put on the outside here. But I just didn't know quite how to add it. But, you know, I kind of want to add some layering in here, and maybe add some music notes. Some music. I don't know if that would kind of clash with that fa la 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 la, but I'm just going to kind of tear this up a little bit and use this over here. Maybe, because I just kind of want to do like an entry page, and then a lot of times, sometimes you could actually come in here and write about your season. What do you expect? What kind of activities, or not necessarily activities, but the spirit that you want, or if, especially sometimes if you're struggling this time of the year, then write that in there. Write what's going on in your life now. I always feel like when you journal, when you write, it's just, it releases it from you having to think and worry about it. Maybe write a quote. I love including quotes in my journaling, or even scriptures, anything to kind of help you with the season, because I know that not everybody has, gets excited about the season. So sometimes it's very helpful to just write those thoughts down in your journal. And I'm just actually this was a paper that I used to make one of the journaling cards, and it was just sitting on there, so I'm like, well, that'll do good. I'm just kind of going to layer up some things here, and just kind of make a little cluster of paper and pretties. Whoops, got glue on me there. Just to kind of do an introduction page. It was weird because last night I was sitting here, thinking about, of course, my journal, and I was going, that little one, I don't want to start it and then it not worked. And I'll tell you, my daughter, when she gave me, because I went shopping today, I say that, shopping. I like to shop, but I don't like to do the whole crowd thing, and I had to go to the mall, which I'm not a big fan of the mall. And I didn't even find what I needed anyway, but it was, when she kind of gave me her little list of stuff, I was like, I'm not going to be able to fit that into my journal, and I always kind of keep that kind of stuff as memories, and so I was like, okay, it's going to have to change. we're going to have to move on to a different type of journaling, so a different size, I guess, so to speak. So I'm just using these Simple Stories die cuts. I'm just kind of adding some layers in here, just kind of playing around with it, just to kind of see what, because I do want to be able to say December daily on here. I'm really loving this pink and turquoise. It seems to be, I used it on the front here too, and now I'm using it, I see myself grabbing it and using it on this one as well. I think that looks cute to me, so I'm just going to start gluing this down. And I mentioned earlier I had purchased, actually I didn't purchase it at all. I'm sorry, I take that back. I bought, or didn't buy, I downloaded some font, some typewriter font, and so I really want to kind of use that a lot with it throughout my journal. I'm having some issues with my my printer these days, so I'll have to see how that's going to pan out, how I'm going to get that to work, or if I'm going to, you know, have to go down and make copy, save it on a flash drive or something like that and then print it out, which sounds like a lot of work, right? We're here to make things, we want to document and make it as simple as possible because it's the memories, not, but I love the typewriter look. I do have to say I went to Brenham this last week, and they had one of the blue typewriters, the you know, you carry it. Oh my gosh, I wanted it so bad, and I was like, I'm not buying for myself. It's Christmas. I'm buying, you know, I'm not supposed to be buying for myself, but I sure did want to buy that. It was a very reasonable price. I think it was like $80, which was not bad. And for anything, it's even something that's just, I was like, well, would I know how to buy the ink? You know, I started just thinking of all these reasons not to, and really and truly, I wasn't buying for myself, so I had to take a step back and make that change. So, get that out of my head. You're not buying for yourself, it's Christmas. Okay, so I'm just kind of just adding it here and there. I may not even need to add that sparkly pretty snowflake because it may be just too busy, but we can definitely add it onto another page. So okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to write in my December daily here. See how this is going to work. And then I may, ever since I embossed the other day, I've been loving the whole embossing. So I think I'm going to do that as well. And where's those enamel dots? Those are like one of my favorites too. So we're going to add those over here. Just like that. And we'll have to probably like do some reinforcement, but I'm going to add some little enamel, not enamel, but some embossing. It's like I'm really loving that right now. So I think I'm either gonna, I thought about doing hearts, but then I just saw this looking at me. This is like one of my favorite stamps to really work with. So I may just do that, and then I might come in here with, I was thinking about actually doing, oh, and this is another one of my favorites. So let's work with two of those. I'm going to use this as a background here. And I'm just going to add this roll here like that. Whoops. Oh, I love this roll. It's so pretty, and it looks Christmassy too. Okay. So put that away. Let me get another one of these, or I'll just get another, because it got a little bit of ink on there. Do this turquoisey color. Kind of, doesn't that look pretty already? That's a good stamp for doing the embossing. I think I just like the way it looks after it gets heated up. It starts to get that crystal look, and you can see it like crumbling, and I mean not crumbling, but heating up. Let's go ahead and do that. I love the way it changes, especially this opaque. Looks very pretty. There we go. Okay. So here's, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to let it dry. So another thing, also, when I first started December Daily, a lot of people talked about doing your foundation pages. And I tried that at first, but I like to kind of create as I go along. I may come in here and maybe do my watercoloring, add some watercoloring throughout the notebook too, because a lot of times I don't want to do my foundation pages, because what if I end up doing something that different that day and I put, I don't know, let's just say I had planned on going to the Nutcracker and I put a Nutcracker in there and I didn't end up going to the Nutcracker. Then I guess I'm just one of those people that are like, oh no, I made it into a Nutcracker, when the Nutcracker can be Christmas too, and I shouldn't have to worry about, oh, it doesn't completely match. But that's just kind of one example. I'm trying to think of something else. And actually the foundation pages are very helpful, because I think it helps you complete the journal too. I mean, you know, you have all that in place, so you're not having to just start from scratch on it. But I noticed in the past I didn't really use the foundation pages. I just love those hearts. Can you see those? That would look really pretty with embossed as well. Let's see here. Should we do it? Should we try it and see? Like just do like one little series? Let's do that. I'm all about embossing these days, so I'm going to use this little stamp, and I've got some silvery pink embossing powder. I've had this stuff for a long time, and it's got a great shelf life. Actually, I'm going to use the black because I'm going to kind of go off the page here a little bit, maybe. Okay, let's try it. Now, I do like to clean my stamps really good after that as well, because make a mess. See how pretty this is? These are by American Crafts, by the way. Looks really pretty. I think I need to add a little bit more on the other side of this roll here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in another video before the series is over, and we're going to do like a final little walkthrough, or I may also do foundation pages and my numbers when they come in, because I do want to show how I plan on doing the numbers. And that's another one of those things that, oh, I did black numbers and I wanted to do pink numbers because we did something pink with cookies or something like that. But I think my ultimate goal this year, after looking at my past journals, I want to complete it. I want to make sure it's done, and then come December 26th, I add my final pictures and it looks pretty and perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but it's completed. Oop, there's a string in there or something. Okay. Put the lid on it, on that. Oh, and just FYI too, I'm using this Versamark. This is a watermark stamp. This is actually used for doing embossing. So let's emboss those sparkly little hearts. See how it looks. I had some remnants left on there from the powder, and I actually like the way it looks against those little starlets in the back. So I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, so there I have my cover page for December Daily. I'm gonna come in here and add a few more maybe some journal covers. This is a junk journal that I'm going to be using, and then I'm also going to create numbers. So I think I'm going to come back in another video and show you some foundation pages. But if you have any questions, or if you'd like to see anything, or you're interested in December Daily and haven't done it, just message me below and I'll be more than willing to answer any questions. And then I'm also going to leave a link down to Allie Edwards. If you look onto her site, you'll see all her albums. She's such an inspiration, and this was such a great project. So yeah, so that's it. Moving into my Cahier, and I'm ready to document. Alright, well, I will see you in my next video.